Okay, so I built this model here, and I'm going to use it as an introduction to how to build in a layer of new investments. But first I want to explain to you the model and sort of the spreadsheet itself. So what I have here is the basic input area, and instead of having a regression model, I used a growth model. Yours is more sophisticated, but I just grew the data from 2013 level. The discount rate from the assets, okay, you actually calculated this with the betas of the other companies. So this is the liabilities, the number of shares. Again, that's from the balance sheet. And this is the actual stock price. And then down here is the inputs for the new investment. But let me first show you where I have these other values here. So these are my different divisions, division 1, 2, and 3, and then I have a new investment layer, and then I add those up, and that gives me this is an extra value. I don't need this. I was trying to debug the model, so I had that there because something wasn't working, but now it's working. So what I have here is, so I have here the calculated present value of the assets. This is just the present value of this line. Again, you can see the residual, which, just like your model, is the sum of these three divided by this value, the discount rate, sort of the residual out. And then I have this is from the input. This is just this minus this. And then the predicted stock price, oops, the predicted stock price is that value divided by the number of shares. Okay, so I'm going to leave it, sorry. All right, so what I've done here is I actually put sort of cash flow by segment. So you can see the biggest segment here is Division 1, Division 2, and Division 3. So that's just what the cash flows into the future look like. That's how we calculate present value. And so then what I did is I said, well, what I want to do is I want to say there's some sort of new investment, this value, so this value goes, this is the new investment value, and then it generates a cash flow every year. So I kind of have this roundabout, but I calculated this based on a payment. So I have a payment for 10 years at 5%. So I'm just going to go to put a number in there, and I'll show you how it works. So let's say I wanted to invest $3 million. So what that did is it actually calculated a payment based on that amount. If I invest $3 million and I get 5%, what does that mean for each of the following 10 years? So I can change this and I can say, well, what if I get 6%? It's going to increase the payment value. But I'm using 5% right now because I want to show you something about that. So what I then did is I discounted this back at 5%. So if this is generated at 5%, discounted at 5%, the net present value, this here, is just going to be 0. Because this is 5% out and 5% back, so it's just going to be 0. And so I'm going to show you when I have a 6% return on this $3,000 or $3 million, then the net present value discounted back at the 5% value is going to be a positive number. So you can see what this is. This is discounted at the 5% value, and this value is generated at the 6% value. So that's why we're going to get different values in there. So I'm going to go ahead and put it at 5% because I want to show you something about that. So I have this $3,000 and it's generating an income here. You can see I have a new investment layer now that generates you can say extra cash. But the thing is, the actual stock price didn't change. So the calculated stock price is $38.16, and if I go ahead and put a 0 in there, it's still $38.16. And that's because the net present value is 0. Now, if I change this to 6%, so watch, this is 38.16, this value is 38.16, so if I put 6%, it goes out to 38.24. That's not very much because you can see it's a pretty small portion of that. So I'm going to actually make this value bigger, and you can see it becomes a bigger chunk of the cash flow, and it made it go up to 38.66. So that's that number, the net present value, divided by the number of shares. That's how we're going to increase it. Now, what if we were able to get a higher return on this, let's say 9%? So now it brought it up to 40.20. Now it's closer to the stock price. So the thing I want to show you is that is that we can generate this sort of new cash flow layer here that shows in this cash flow. And if we're getting no matter how much we invest, if we get 5%, it's not going to change the stock price. But if we get something different than 5%, then it will end up increasing the stock price. So we might want to play with that and say, well, what is the market expecting in the way of increased investment activity? I hope that helps to show how to do this, how to do the stock price layer.